Welcome to Sacred Rebellion. I'm Kim Andryc.
And I'm Lora Solomon. In this podcast, we defy convention and shatter the stereotypes of what it means to be healthy and holy.
It's time to rebel.
Let's do this. Coming up on this episode. All right, Kim, here we are.
Whoop, whoop. Another great episode.
Another great episode. You know, if you just looked at our topics, you would think that we were the most dreadful people. Like our last episode was about death. And today we're going to be talking about shame and guilt. Like, oh God. But somehow we're going to make this fun. And we are going to laugh because we always laugh.
Yeah, we are going to laugh.
Mostly at ourselves.
And every topic that we bring, although it may not be what on the surface level seems like a good topic to talk about, they're very insightful and helpful, in my opinion.
So we have Lois Hollis with us today.
Yes. Welcome. Yeah, Lois is okay, we need to start all over. I don't know what the acronym BSN is.
It's
Bachelor's in Science and
Nursing.
Okay, I think you should take this first part, Laura.
Okay, so Lois is an RN, BSN, but I don't know what REV means.
Reverend.
Oh, Reverend. Oh, sorry. She's a
Reverend.
I
got to cover the bases here.
That's right. And her mission is to shift our opinion on one of the most forbidden subjects, which is shame and guilt.
Depression, anxiety, 30 years of migraine, headaches, and pain were Lois's life until she learned the dangers of shame guilt. Not shame and guilt, shame guilt. She shares her 15-year experience as a ShameGuilt educator, counselor, filmmaker to offer health and spiritual maturity.
Yes, I love it when we start with the body and we end up in spirituality, and then we realize that it's all connected. It's all the same thing. But her film, she has a very long career. She entered into nursing as a nurse's aide at the age of 12, and today at 78 is still in the fight. She's a trailblazer. She developed one of the first kidney hemodialysis centers in the USA. And she has also established shame guilt as an independent study.
Lois's film, Out of Discord into Harmony, teaches us how to communicate our emotions and inner critic. I Am Good Film makes shame guilt visible to illustrate its trickery and how to kick it out. She is the author of 3 books and podcasts. Now is the Time, a collection of her soul readings, helps us to stop the negative shame guilt energy.
Well, welcome, Lois.
Welcome to the rebellion.
Thank you. I won't bore you with a long bio because it brought me to front and center of the most important aspect that we have today in our chaotic world, where we are all choosing what to do, what to say, and our choices need to be laced in reality, not the shame guilt energy.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump right. I'm gonna put another taboo topic right on top of this other taboo topic, because the way I see it, we have been in the middle of a shame guilt psychological operation over the past 2 years, where shame and guilt have been used to control people's behavior.
Yes.
And it's like watching a movie that is horrifying, but it's like watching a train wreck. You can't take your eyes away. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And it's happening, right? So the idea of virtue signaling and how that correlates with shame and guilt, right? So if you've been convinced that you're bad, right, then it's so easy to guilt and shame you into whatever behavior.
Yes, because victims are malleable.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we are not victims, but we've been taught to become victims. And shame guilt energy, if I can digress a little to help people see where I'm going.
Yes.
Okay. We all know we have love energy. And love energy gives us all our positive, beautiful feelings. The love gives us joy and happiness, confidence, self-esteem. We are compassionate. We are giving. We are strong. We go after our own advice. We have a connection with the spiritual realms, no matter where you are in your life. But we have a sense of the spiritual realm, and we dictate ourselves to honesty, perfection, trust, joy, and life is good. That's who we are as human beings. We were made to be this way. However, on the other side, we have shame guilt energy. And what does shame guilt energy give us? It turns our positive emotions to negative ones, sort of like a computer virus. Now, what
Yeah.
happens when your computer gets a virus? Oh my God.
Yeah,
Everybody's going to say, it's horrifying because my Microsoft Word doesn't work, my disk doesn't work properly, and there's no communication with my internet. Now, your computer has the same virus as mine, but somehow yours operates badly with your Microsoft Word, and mine works badly with the internet. So that's why a computer virus has, many ramifications, and we don't understand it because it affects each computer differently. The same thing as shame guilt energy affects each one of us differently. And that's why it's been a conundrum. Nobody understands it, so we just kind of push it aside. Shame guilt energy turns our compassion to depression. Each emotion has a positive and a negative orientation. It's one and the same.
Yeah.
And this has been put forth many years ago, but it wasn't really picked up. But each emotion is positive and negative, and it depends on the shame guilt energy attacking our emotions, which orientation it will choose. Compassion turns to depression. Intuition turns to anxiety. And our passion turns to anger, et cetera, et cetera. So we don't have to go after spending years and years finding compassion and finding our intuition and finding our will. It's already there. It's shame guilt energy has turned it to the negative point, but we have it all. And a lot of people say that, but this is why we have it all. I'm the how person. This is why we have it.
So what this is making me think about is how much of this it has to do with being embodied. For example, how much does the body support us in, I don't know, for lack of a better word, being free of the grip of this. And I like even the word parasite because
it is a parasite.
It does feed for the shame guilt, just like a parasite feeds and takes energy from the host. This complex, this infection, whatever you want to call it, it's energized. So the more shame guilt is there, the fatter and the bigger it gets. It's like this big fat.
Oh, you're so smart. You get
tick sitting on you. It's like this fat tick just sitting there, getting more and more full. And yeah,
that's it. So yeah, now we're changing the concept of what it is. This is the most important thing. We don't need the shame guilt energy. The shame guilt energy needs us because it's parasitic. Yeah. Now, if we talk in these terms, we can say it's outside of us. It's not inside of us. And what is that doing for us? If it's outside of us, we can physically, spiritually, energetically take it and get rid of it. Now, shame guilt energy has only one defect.
What is it?
It dissolves in detection.
Yes.
Whoa.
It doesn't like to be
Yeah.
revealed.
It dissolves in detection because the
Mhm.
jig is up. Remember the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Dorothy
Yes.
goes up the yellow brick road in great anticipation. She's in awe to see the wizard. What does Toto do? Toto the dog takes his mouth and moves the curtain open. What do you see? A little gray man
Mhm.
with a big machine with smoke. Shame guilt is a puff of smoke.
Mm.
Okay, that's what it is, and that's why I do film, to show what it is. It's a puff of smoke. We have been taught, we have been trained, we have been downloaded to view shame guilt as a part of humanity. How can something be so destructive, so horrible, and so deadly to be normal?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me or to God, or, God didn't make us that way.
I love how you made the connection between, compassion and depression, intuition and anxiety. I love how there's that relationship so that you can recognize what I'm what I'm emitting, if
Mhm.
that's rage, if that's depression, if whatever, I can see what that is. And I can see the corollary, the energy that is basked in love on the other side of the spectrum, and see that it's just a small shift. It seems very gentle. It seems like a very gentle approach to bringing people back into alignment with love.
With love, yes, that's it. And love is all there is. There ain't no more. But
Yeah.
anyway, shame guilt energy comes into us by other people's words. You got to do this. If you don't do that, they're going to die. If you don't do this, your mother will kill you. You won't be a good person. You're very bad if you don't do that. We are trained that way since you were a baby, and it's not your fault. It comes from your mother and your father and your grandmother and the
It's
Pope
not their
and
fault
the
either.
president. It's
It's nobody's fault. It's been sent
put,
down.
yeah, for since Adam and Eve. So hello there, and nobody's been able to figure it out. So this is why, because it dissolves in detection. It's covered. Maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I came upon this um, situation where I was dying because of all the shame guilt. I had a very abusive childhood. I had a near-death experience that shows you, because my neck was broken, and I can go into all that. But even though all that happened, I still was very successful. But as you know, if you don't take care of the emotional problems you've had, you go downhill like the 40. So that's what happened to me. And then through the grace of God and my life's journey, I was able to gather this information, and I was so happy because I didn't have to go to therapy for suicide and depression and anxiety, because I'd be dead before I covered all the bases, because I had them all. So I found that shame guilt energy turns our emotions, and I just have to get rid of shame guilt. I was so excited. I didn't know how yet, but I was excited that I could do it. And I did do it. And my whole life changed. Shame guilt energy turns our brain into a negative force. Our shame guilt energy enters our emotion, turning them negative. Shame guilt alters the ley lines, the meridians inside our body, which makes us susceptible to disease. Shame guilt stops our connection to spirit. I got my phone, like I have my phone talking to a person and the internet goes down. So I can't talk to them. That's what shame guilt energy does to all of us. We lose our connection to the spiritual realm. So shame guilt energy is the most deadly thing that can be placed upon a human. Now, I say that, now this is one thing I want to be a takeaway, because have you ever heard of David Hawkins?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, well, he's
Power
now living,
versus force.
yeah,
Yeah, he came
he's
up
now
in
in heaven. But what
Mhm.
he did give
Mhm.
us was a graph
Yeah.
of each emotion's energy.
I could probably pull it up right now because I teach it in my course.
Oh, that's great. So please come in. As you
Should I
know,
try to bring it up
700,
now?
yeah, 700,000 is enlightenment to the 30th power.
Mhm.
Not only at 700,000, it's to the 30th, 30 zeros. And that is a net name. That isn't, does have a name. That number has a name, according to my mathematical son-in-law, but I don't remember. But anyway, it's huge. And then we come down to love and joy and happiness and, you know, all the positive emotions. 200, it changes. Not 200 to the 30th power, 200. And then we have anger and hatred, depression, etc. And I'm not doing justice to it right now, but I just want to show the difference, the range. What is the last one?
Shame.
Shame.
Shame's at the bottom.
Guilt. Yeah. And what's after that?
Guilt.
Death.
Death. Exactly. Shame, guilt, energy is the lowest energy that
Mhm.
you as a human can embody.
Yeah.
Now, why is suicide? What happens in suicide? I was suicidal. I know. I felt that the world would be better without me. That's severe guilt. Guilt is suicide. There's nothing out of suicide. So we all have experienced guilt. Nobody is free. It just is what it is. But we're the smart ones that are trying to figure out how to get rid of it. Well, I'll tell you. But if we are in guilt, duh, we need to get out of it. We just need to get out. I'm not talking about totally healing. We cannot stay in the state of guilt or shame.
Okay,
Shame, guilt, the
I
same
need
thing.
to say something here because it's real. I think it's really important.
Okay, go
And
for it.
that is, if you go back to that Hawkins scale, okay,
Mhm.
and you go up the scale, anger is much higher energy than shame and guilt. And what I observe is that for many people,
Especially men.
they can't get through the anger because they've been shamed for feeling angry. And so you
Exactly.
see, it's like a cap that gets put on. So that is kind of my it's I don't know how to manage this or whatever, but not being willing to feel angry and making anger a negative emotion is a problem. And
Of
I think
course.
that comes, like it's because a lot of times contacting that intuition and that passion and all that only comes after you burn through the anger. So that's like, how do you get through the anger without shaming yourself or being shamed or, oh, you're spiritual. Why are you angry?
Mhm.
You're
Right?
right.
You're a good Christian. Why are you angry? You shouldn't be angry. You should be loving.
Okay, what they're doing there. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's perfect. I need to put that right there because people in guilt, we just have to get out of guilt. Okay, don't listen to anybody else. You need to get out of guilt. Now, I had a client that was so guilt ridden because she could not help her mother out of alcoholism.
Right. Oh,
And
good
you can
one.
understand that, and you know how it is. If you don't want to be helped, you're not going to be helped no matter, if God comes down, it just is
Mhm.
what it is. However, she felt that guilt. So we decided that she would feel regret instead of guilt. With her regret, okay, it's not the top of the line, but it's out of guilt. Regret gives you the option to do something. She started a program for people with alcoholism and help them heal. She
Mm.
had a solution. She could move forward. Okay, then she moved into joy and happiness. But the way out, and if you can think of a better word, but guilt has no solution, only suicide. Regret leads you into a solution. Anger leads you, anything leads you into a solution. Anything's better than guilt.
Well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
regret is associated with grief too. And grief is this processing of it, right? Like there's something to
Exactly.
do with it.
We have grief, and we can have grief processing. There's 7 steps, and I'm not a counselor in that category, but at least you can go to a counselor, have grief. You can't go to a counselor in guilt because you're too guilty to get help.
Well, yeah, and that comes back to this unworthiness, right? So if there's shame, there's a sense of unworthiness, and the unworthiness is a barrier to believing you're even worth going to a counselor, or
You're too guilty. You're
spending the
not
time
worth it.
and money,
You're
or
not worth it. So
yeah.
I would say in this category, knowing what we do know, it's a parasite. You probably can't see it, but it's there. You can say no. You can say no. Nike was always yes. We're saying no to the shame guilt energy. No, you're not. You're detecting shame guilt. Remember, it dissolves in detection. I see it. I feel it. Go away. You don't belong to me. Okay, now I have regret and I have some anger, and I say, hi, anger. What do you have to tell me? That's a part of you. We can heal the part of anger. That's part of your passion. So we start writing, we start talking to ourselves. I decided to talk to myself because I couldn't afford therapists anymore. So I just talked to myself. I said, hi, anger, and anger start talking. So I have a film, Out of Discord into Harmony, that shows you how to talk to your emotions. There are people inside of you. That's who you talk to. Shame, go away. Whatever you want to do. Is it going to stay away forever? No, but at least you clear it so you can talk to your spiritual, emotional self. And when you detect shame guilt, it has to be going away because it dissolves in detection. So this is what I can tell people today. You feel guilt, you say that shame guilt, go away, doesn't belong to me. I don't care what Aunt Henry says and Uncle George. What the priest told me yesterday, pray because you're guilty. We don't want to hear that right now. I'm not saying the priests are bad. I'm just saying the message of guilt, no matter who it comes from, you just say no.
Well, and I'm not going to say priests are bad, but I am going to say that religion, at least Christianity, the very first message we receive is you are a sinner.
Yes, and
You
God
are
came
a sinner.
here only for you. We'll have another viewpoint of that, but anyway,
Yeah.
everybody has their own view.
God came you, and God sacrificed. Now child sacrifice occurred in your honor because you're so horrible.
Exactly,
and that's going to be our start. That's going to be the starting place for this, whatever this is, whatever we're going to call it.
I couldn't. So anyway, also on my website, I have a pamphlet called "Now Is the Time." After I was able to get rid of a lot of shame guilt, I start hearing spirit talk to me. God talks, I write. I'm just his secretary. That's it. Now, these words that God has given me into little paragraphs raises your frequency. And when you raise your frequency, what does it do? It goes up the scale of Hawkins.
Yeah.
So if you can't get out of shame guilt, you can't get out of guilt, and you can't do regret, pick up my website, press it, it's free, read these words, and it will get you out of the hole of guilt. And so that you can start processing things. In guilt, there's no solution.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just got to get out of guilt. And also, there's one thing I would like to help people say. Never make a decision when you're feeling guilty.
Good one.
Because it will always be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Or a decision out of fear.
Fear is guilt. Fear is.
So let's talk about what's the relationship between guilt and fear.
Fear. Okay. There's like Hawkins has a schedule. We have a schedule that the psychiatric division has given us. We have hurt on the bottom. Hurt is the least amount of shame, guilt, energy of an emotion. The psychology division
Are
has
you,
labeled
hold on 1 second. Are you talking about energetic hurts or somebody hurts your
hurt,
feeling?
hurt is
Feeling
hurt, an
hurt.
emotion, feeling hurt.
Feeling, okay.
Feeling
So
hurt.
your feelings are hurt. Okay.
Your feelings are hurt. And that's
Okay.
the first level of shame, guilt, energy. Psychology has named different amounts of energy, different emotions. Okay, now you can write this down. If you're writing in the car, don't please. Just listen to this over again. Hurt is at the bottom. And that's what happens. You got hurt as a kid.
So
Somebody
there's
didn't give
an,
you a
there's an
lollipop.
injury.
There's an injury.
Okay.
A shame, guilt, injury. Oh, that's great. That's coined it. Shame, guilt, injury. And then after that, you get anxiety because, oh my God, who's going to hurt me next? So there's more shame, guilt in that emotion. After anxiety, we have anger. Anger is much more explosive than hurt. And it's more explosive because there's more shame, guilt, energy. You got attacked again with a shame, guilt, energy again. And you just carry it and carry it and carry it. After anger, we have depression because you're like, I give up because I'm getting hurt and I'm getting anxiety and I keep getting shamed. And, you know, we have more shame, guilt because depression is a much larger violation than hurt, correct? People in depression have much more mental illness than a hurt person, correct? You can see that I'm just hurt, but when depression, you can't work, you sleep in bed all the time, you have no motivation.
So it's more debilitating. What I'm hearing when you're saying is the coping strategy for the original hurt gets more and more reinforced.
Because you get more and more shame, guilt. Isn't that what was happened to all of us? You know, because it doesn't leave until we get rid of it. Okay, so after then we have hatred. Hatred is I hate the world for having wronged me. And hatred is such more powerful emotion than hurt. Why? Because it has more shame, guilt, energy in it. Now, fear tops them all. Fear is shame, guilt, energy at such a high level that it's embedded in us and it feels inescapable. So fear is a magnitude of shame, guilt, energy.
You're back.
Okay. Fear is a magnitude of shame, guilt, energy that's embedded into us because we've been shamed for so long that it feels inescapable. So fear is shame, guilt, energy at the highest level that a human can have.
And I think if you kind of use the parasite analogy, right?
Oh, that's great. Great.
If a person can get to the point where nobody's really hurting them at all anymore, but the parasite is there and it's being fed by that internal process.
The inner critic.
Right. The inner critic or the perfectionist or, you know, whatever it is that's kind of feeding the shame parasite. And then it gets bigger and bigger
as we get older and we hear from, you know, all the waves of how bad we are. Now, I want to mention that the inner critic is our best friend. Our inner critic has been trained, like us, to slap us, to tell us we're wrong, because that's what society has done to us. It's just an inner version of our outer world. That's all the inner critic is. And I talk to my inner. My last episode on I'm Good Film shows how we can talk to our inner critic, like I'm talking to you. And they're living in the timeline when we are 2 and 3 and 4. Well, we're not 2 and 3 and 4. We have good mind and we have a lot of intelligence, and we don't need to be badgered with shame guilt because we're too smart to know that it doesn't work and we don't need it. But the inner critic doesn't know that. We actually have to talk to the inner critic. The shame guilt person, producer inside of us is the inner critic. So unless you make friends with the inner critic, you will always be badgered inside. And it's just because he got the wrong message. He's right now, my inner critic, his name is King, of course. And he travels around the world and gives me podcasts. He got a new job. His job is not shaming me anymore because he's my partner. God did not make us with a bad partner. Shame, guilt, energy got put upon him, and he thought that that's the way to protect you. Now I'm saying knowledge is the way to protect you. So I'm teaching you, and you teach your inner critic, and then you become partners.
You know, one of the things as you're talking, I can dial in on there being this individual and, parasite that has attached
Parasite's great.
itself to me
Yeah.
and is sucking my energy. But it got me thinking about just this collective, the collective consciousness. And
Oh, yes.
and Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body. And it's like it's more than just attached to us on an individual level. It has really infiltrated the collective consciousness.
Exactly. Yes, of course. That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
And our job is to make friends with their inner critic. People say, oh, get rid of it. Always tell it to shut up. Well, I can't cut off my arm, and I'm not going to cut off my leg. My inner critic is King. He's a wonderful person inside of me that God put in part of me to make me credible, to make me honest. He's not a bad person. He just was trained the shame guilt way. Like you have been trained the shame guilt way. So
all of society, all of everyone.
Everybody.
I don't believe that there is a human, there's no ideal family setup that allows a human to come into this world without it. It's in our fiber. It's in the collective.
But it's not normal. It's not human. It's all over the place, but it's not normal. And you can, believe me, once you start this work.
When you say it's not normal, it is normal. It is normalized. It is a part. There's not a single human in the world who doesn't.
But it's not normal. It's not normal for the human to have it. Because people say it's normal to have this disease. No, it isn't. We have been trained to think it's normal. It's common. Use the word common, not normal. God did not make you that way.
I think in other words we could use are sanity versus insanity.
Okay.
And so if you think about, you're in a collective group of people, and they've all been infected by a psychological parasite. So they are functioning insanity. And then over a certain number of years, thousands of years, it becomes so common.
Yeah, say common.
That if you show up and you say, you realize that's completely insane.
It is.
Then you look like the insane one because,
yeah,
right. Yeah. So you're showing up and saying, oh, something like, you don't have to wear a mask if you're not sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now
you started on that.
So
one.
now you're right. So now you're the crazy one because you won't fall in line with, right. Oh, you're perfectly healthy, but you have to go get a shot, an experimental injection every 6 months.
Yeah.
If you're a good person and you care about people, right. Then that's what you, so it's insanity.
Yeah,
but when you point,
Yeah,
When you
you're
point
right.
it
And
out,
right
and
now, I'm killing the world because I didn't get vaccinated.
right, exactly. Okay, so like I said, I don't care. It's like I know this is a taboo topic, but I'm talking about it. But
Well,
it's like I think what Kim was saying is, you know, we're we've been insane for so long.
we don't know what sanity is.
we don't even recognize sanity when we see it. We think, oh, that's a conspiracy theorist. Like, no, it's just a sane person saying, it's like the story, the emperor has no clothes, right? It's like everybody's saying, oh yeah, I like it. And then the kid says he's naked. Like he's got no clothes on. Like, why
Yeah,
can't
your 2-year-old says that. The
right? So they're
2-year-old's right.
saying, oh, wait a minute, you're
They haven't
healthy.
been infiltrated yet. They haven't been, yeah.
They
But
haven't had their mind waves altered, and we are victim of mind altering waves on
yes,
the planet. Okay, I can feel it, I know it, and that's when I read my words from spirit, because it takes me out of the frequency that the planet has right now. And
yeah.
I need to write these, and I wake up at 4 a.m. with these words in my head, and I keep reading them. So because that can help me, and that's why I
Because
say,
it takes
you-
effort to be sane.
of course it does. But that's why I say thank you so much for inviting me and letting me be on the show, that I can, talk to people that think alike, and this can grow. I'm in 15 countries now. That's huge. I just heard from Hong Kong yesterday. So
Good for
this is
you.
very
Yeah.
exciting.
It
that
is
Spirit
exciting.
is putting this in all these places in the world. And the 100 monkey theory, 5 years from now, they go, oh yeah, that ShameGuilt thing's a bunch of mirrors, smokes and mirrors. But today they're not. But someone's got to be the forerunner. And I found out that that's who I am. I'm just a trailblazer, because that's just who I am. I didn't know it. And I can't believe that someone has not taken the ShameGuilt and made it like a study. Like, this is the most important thing in the world today. And they talk about depression and anxiety and loneliness. And I'm going, ay, 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 ay. But that's okay. That's okay. Someone's got to do it.
Oh, it's like you can't see it because you're in it. It's
of course, that's why I made a movie.
right.
That's why I
And
went to film school at age 60. Oh, that was something else. Let me tell you.
Well, and you offer so much on your website. There's films and books and blogs and cards, just all
And
kinds.
everything.
Yeah, I'm really.
thank you,
Just use it.
thank you.
Yes,
Just
thank you.
use
Thank
it. And there's no excuse.
you. Yeah.
I've been happy, grateful that some people have supported me because they believe in the mission. And I said, fine, thank you. But I'm just keep on going, because that's my job. I mean,
It's beautiful.
I charge for sessions, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But people can just press the button and read these words and get out of the guilt, shame hole.
Yeah. No excuse, people.
No excuse. Start
Now,
training your
there's a
inner
book.
clinic.
Yeah,
Oh,
talk to your diagnostic statistical manual.
Yes.
You've heard of this. It's
ugh,
913 pages.
that book makes me ill.
There is no word in here that says shame or guilt. There are 912 disorders, but shame, guilt is not mentioned. Because that's the solution. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Are you ready for the lightning round, Lois?
Oh, go right ahead.
Okay. What rules have you rebelled against on your journey to health?
I never get injections from a hospital or x-rays.
All right.
And
Yeah.
that's a big thing for me to say, because I've been in nursing forever.
Oh, I hear you. I don't do it either. And I get a lot of pushback.
Oh, well. Oh, well, I'm alive.
Lois, what does it mean to you to be holy?
Talking to God, and he answers. He's my best friend.
All right. Final question. what would you like to say to a listener right now who feels trapped in that shame, guilt, and doesn't know what to do?
Shame, guilt is not ours to own or to give.
Mm.
God made us perfect.
It's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us on The Rebellion. And we will, of course, have links to your website and all of your contact information in the show notes. But would you like to just share with our listeners how someone can get in touch with you and how they can find out more?
Yes, loishollis.com. And as I got a wonderful success story from you guys on my website, and I have someone who's very devoted to tech issues, and he helps me along. So I'm very grateful for him and his family. So loishollis.com. It's the beginning, and you can go also, if you just want to see the films, go to I'm Good Film. My
Yeah.
husband sings the song. I'mGoodFilm.com. He had a dream about it and he sang it, and that was it. So
That's lovely.
yeah, it's I'mGood.com. And why wouldn't I say I'mGood.com? I'm
Yeah.
just good.
I'm good.
I'm
I'm
good.
good. When people say something to me in that way, I just say, I'm good. And they, what do you mean? I go, I'm good. So that gets rid of all this stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and then you're projecting your energy. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
beautiful.
you
So
didn't
that
do
was-
this. You didn't eat that. You didn't do that. You didn't get that injection. You didn't get that pill. And I go, I'm good. I'm
You're
good.
not wearing your mask. I'm good.
I'm good. I'm an SOR nurse. Really? Do you think I'm good? So that's what I would say to people, to say I'm good, and talk to anxiety or depression and just say, hi, how are you? What do you want to tell me? Don't tap it away. Don't try to kill it away. Just say, hi, how are you? Because depression is just compassion that got shamed. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think of
Beautiful.
a computer virus. You got a computer virus called shame guilt.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lois. And we appreciate you joining the rebellion.
And keep in touch. You are wonderful people. Please, I will still as well.
Thanks for listening to Sacred Rebellion. We love connecting with you in this way. If you want to join the rebellion and enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Sacred Rebellion.
Give us a rating and review, and please recommend us to your tribe. Follow us on social media at Sacred Rebellion Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.
Until next time, stay curious,
Stay courageous, and most of all, stay rebellious.